To celebrate me reaching 10,000 subscribers, I'll be reading the entire Fall Guys terms of service. There will be no other gameplay in this video, so just make sure to watch this video in the background while doing homework or some chores or playing Fall Guys or playing any other game. Just watch the video in the background and enjoy. And thank you guys for over 10,000 subscribers. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout and User License Agreement. Last updated on January 12th, 2022. By selecting I agree or purchasing, downloading, or using the game Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout or its related services, the game and services, collectively our services, you agree to the terms of this end user license agreement, including the arbitration agreement and class action waiver described in section 18 below. If you do not agree to the terms of this agreement, do not purchase, download, or use our services. Any reference to services in this agreement includes a reference to any part of any of our services. This agreement is a binding legal contract between you and Epic Games Incorporated for the benefit of the Epic parties defined below, except for users of our services on the Steam platform, in which case this agreement is a binding legal contract between you and EJFG LLC, trading as Epic Games for the benefit of the Epic parties. 1. Epic account and services. You may need to have an account to use the services. To create an account, you must provide truthful and accurate information about yourself on the account registration page and keep that information up to date. You may not share your account with others and are solely responsible for keeping the login credentials to your account confidential. You are responsible for all activity associated with your account. We may suspend or terminate your account at our sole discretion. We use the phrase "at our sole discretion" in this agreement to mean at any time, for any reason or no reason, and without prior notice to you. For additional terms and conditions related to Epic Games accounts, please visit this link. The game uses Epic Online Services, EOS, which is operated by Epic Games Incorporated, and includes client software, EOS software, that is integrated into the game software. When you start a new game session, the latest version of the EOS software will automatically be loaded to your device without any notice to you. The EOS software is used solely for providing EOS functionality such as authentication login, voice chat, and in-game social overlays. For more information, please visit https://dev.epicgames.com/services. The game also uses Epic Anti-Cheat, which is operated by Epic Games International (SORL) and includes client software that is integrated into the game software. Easy Anti-Cheat is used to detect and prevent fraudulent and cheat software. Please see section 7 below for further details. Number 2. Our software is licensed, not sold, to you under this agreement. Subject to your strict compliance with this agreement, including the rules of conduct below, we grant you a personal, limited, non-transferable, recoverable, and non-exclusive license to you. A. Use of our services for your personal use, and B. Make and publicly display audio-visual footage of using our services, your streaming footage, on online video streaming and social networking services. If you are using our services on a PlayStation platform, the above license is limited to use of our services only on a PlayStation platform that you own or control, or other such system to which our services are delivered by PlayStation Network. If you access our services using a PlayStation 4, PS4, and our services allow you to use the PS4 share button, we grant you a personal, limited, non-transferable, recoverable, and non-exclusive license to use a share button to replicate or stream the audio and video output of those services to third-party services supported by the PS4 system. We reserve any right in our services not explicitly granted to you under this agreement. 3. Content and UGC. Our services include content. We use the term content to mean all materials, information, technology, software, and other content available through our services, including trademarks, logos, visual interfaces, images, illustrations, designs, compilations, articles, and advertisements, software, computer code, services, text, pictures, photos, audio clips, and video clips, and the selection and arrangement thereof. Content also includes user-generated content, UGC, which means content contributed by users of our services. All content is and will remain the exclusive property of Mediatonic Limited or its licensors, and is protected by copyright, trademark, trade secret, intellectual property, and other laws. When you contribute UGC, you 1. Represent, warrant, and agree that you have all necessary rights and authorizations to publish through our services or share with such as content and grant the rights that you grant herein. 2. Grant to us and our licensors and licensees a non-exclusive, perpetual, transferable, worldwide, and sub-licensable license to use, host, store, reproduce, modify, create, derivative works of, publicly platform, publicly displayed, or otherwise transmit and communicate the UGC or any portion thereof in any manner or form, in any medium or form, whether now, known, or hereafter advised, without notice, payment, or attribution to any kind to you or any third party. 3. Grant all other users who can access and use the UGC on your services the right to use, copy, modify, display, perform, create derivative works from, and otherwise communicate and distribute your UGC on or through our services without further notice, attribution, or any compensation to you. 4. Waive any moral rights and rights of publicly and privacy you may have in such UGC to the full extent permitted by applicable laws. And 5. Agree that you are solely responsible for the UGC that you contribute. You may not upload UGC that infringes a third party's intellectual property rights or that violates the law. This agreement or third party's right of privacy or the right of publicity. You may remove, edit, or disable UGC at our sole discretion. We do not assume any responsibility or liability for UGC for removing it or not removing it or other content. We may, but are not obliged to, pre-screen UGC before displaying it on our services. We do not endorse any UGC available on our services. 4. Virtual features. Our services include virtual features. We use the term virtual features to mean rights that we license to you to access or use certain features that we make available on our services. Examples of virtual features may include access to digital or unlockable content, additional or enhanced functionality, including multiplayer services, virtual assets, in-game achievements, and virtual points, coins, and currencies. When you sign up or pay for virtual features, we grant you a personal, limited, non-transferable, recoverable, and non-exclusive license to access the selected virtual features. Virtual features have no monetary value and/or value outside of our services. You cannot sell, trade, or transfer virtual features or exchange them for cash. Any payment you make for access to a virtual feature is non-refundable otherwise stated. Any payment you make for access to a virtual feature is non-refundable unless otherwise stated. 5. Updates, online server support, and interruptions. We may, by automatic update or otherwise, change, modify, or update services, content, or virtual features at our sole discretion. For example, we may need to update or reset certain parameters to balance gameplay and usage of our services. These updates or resets may cause you setbacks with the relevant game world and may affect your gameplay and virtual features under your control. If our services use online servers, we make no commitment to continue to make those servers available and may terminate online features at any time. We reserve the right to interrupt our services from time to time on a regularly scheduled basis or others with or without prior notice to perform maintenance on our services. You acknowledge that we may interrupt, suspend, or terminate our services for unforeseen circumstances or causes beyond our control, and we cannot guarantee that you will be able to access services or your account whenever you may wish to do so. We are not liable to you for any consequences resulting from changes, modifications, updates, or interruptions to our services or the discontinuation of any services. 6. Internet connection. Some features of our services may require internet connection, which you must provide at your expense. You are responsible for all costs and fees charged by your internet service provider related to the download and use of our services. 7. Fraud and cheat detection. To provide users with a positive, fair, and competitive experience on our services, we may use certain software, tools, and technologies, fraud and cheat detection, to detect and prevent programs, methods, or processes that are used for hacking, account stealing, or other unauthorized or fraudulent activity on the services. Fraud. Or give you or other users a competitive advantage within the services. Cheats, including bots, hacks, add-ons, malware, scripts, and mods not explicitly authorized by us. You will not A. Use or encourage the use of cheats. B. Engage or encourage others to engage in fraud. A. Use or encourage the use of cheats. B. Engage in or encourage others to engage in fraud. C. Develop, market, offer, sell, distribute, and support or otherwise make available any cheats. Or D. Attempt to tamper with, modify, disable, disrupt, or circumvent any software, tools, or technologies used to detect and prevent frauds or cheats. Fraud and cheat detection software may also be installed during your installation of our software. If you do not agree to install a fraud and cheat detection software or at any time remove or disable the fraud and cheat detection software, a license to the services granted to you automatically terminates and you may not use the services. The services or the fraud and cheat detection software may collect and transmit details about your account, gameplay, and potentially unauthorized programs or processes in connection with fraud and cheat detection. If fraud or cheats are identified, you agree that we may exercise any or all of its rights under this agreement. Number 8. Rules of conduct. You shall not and shall not attempt to do any of the following. Use or allow the use of our services for any purpose or activity that is illegal, unlawful, or not expressly unauthorized. Use or allow the use of our services for any purpose or activity that is illegal, unlawful, or not expressly authorized under this agreement. Sell, rent, lease, share, or provide access to your account to anyone else or use another user's account. Modify, adapt, sublicense, translate, resell, retransmit, reverse engineer, decompile, or disassemble any portion of our services. Reverse engineer or attempt to extract or otherwise use source code or other data from our services. Use our services to build a service or game that will compete with our services, or assist another person in building a service or game that will compete with our services. Remove any proprietary, copyright, trade secret, or warning legend from our services. Make or publicly display your streaming footage with such footage A. misinterprets our identity, the names, features, or functionality of our services, or the legal rights or obligation that anyone has in regards to the services, or B. adversely affects our rights in an unfair or illegal manner. Damage, disrupt, impair, or interfere with our services, any server, network, or system used to provide our services, any person's property, or another user's use or enjoyment of our services, such as the engaging in denial of service attacks, spamming, hacking, or uploading computer viruses, worms, Trojan horses, cancel bots, spyware, corruptive files, or time bombs. Probe, scan, or test the vulnerability of our services, or circumvent or breach the security of authentication measures of our services. Harass, threaten, bully, embarrass, spam, or do anything else to another user of our services that is unwanted, such as repeatedly sending unwanted messages or making insults, personal attacks, or statements about people based on their race, sexual orientation, religion, nationality, or any other aspect. Contribute UGC or organize or participate in any activity or group via a service that is inappropriate, abusive, harassing, profane, threatening, hateful, offensive, vulgar, obscene, sexually explicit, defamatory, infringing, invades another's privacy, was otherwise objectionable. Publish, post, upload, or distribute UGC that is illegal or that you do not have permission to freely distribute, which we determine is inappropriate, abusive, hateful, harassing, profane, defamatory, threatening, hateful, obscene, sexually explicit, infringing, privacy invasive, vulgar, offensive, indecent, or unlawful. Post or transmit a message for any purpose other than personal communication. Prohibit messages include advertising, spam, chain letters, pyramid schemes, and other types of solicitation or commercial activities. Impersonate another person or falsely imply that you are one of our employees or representatives. Improperly use in-game support or complaint buttons or make false reports to us. Use any robot, spider, site search, retrieval application, or other manual automatic device or process to retrieve, index, data mine, or enemy reproduce or circumvent the content, national navigational structure, or representation of our services. Harvest, fish for, or collect any kind of private information or other users of our services such as passwords. Use or distribute unauthorized software programs or tools when using our services such as auto software programs, macro software programs, cheat utility software or applications, exploits, cheats, or any other game hacking, altering, or cheating software or tool. Modify any file or any other part of our service that we do not particularly authorize you to modify. Use exploits, cheats, undocumented features, design errors, or problems in our services. Use or distribute counterfeit software or content associated with our services, including virtual features. Attempt to use our services on or through any service that we do not control or authorize. Sell, buy, trade, or otherwise transfer or offer to transfer your account, any personal access to our services, or any content associated with your account, including virtual features, either within our services or on a third-party website, or in connection with any in-game transaction. Use our services in a jurisdiction in which we are prohibited from offering such services under applicable export control laws. Engage in any other activity that significantly disturbs the peaceful, fair, and respectable gaming environment of our services. Use information about users publicly available in any of our services, e.g. on a leaderboard, for any purpose unrelated to our services, including to attempt to identify such users in the real world. Transfer any of our services to a foreign national or national destination that is prohibited by U.S. and other export control laws. Promote, encourage, or take any prohibited activity described above. Some of our services may post additional rules that apply to your content on those services. If you encounter another user who is violating any of these rules, please report this activity to us using the help or report abuse function in the relevant service, if available, or contact us at https://support.fallguys.com/. We will review the report and may, at our sole discretion, take action against those or anyone who violates our rules or conduct, such as by revoking access to certain or all of our services and terminating their account. We may also take such action at our sole discretion in respect of anyone who knowingly submits a false report in bad faith. We may, but are not obliged to, monitor or record online activity or content on our services at our sole discretion. 9. Notice and copyright infringement claims. In accordance with the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA, and other applicable law, we have adopted a policy of terminating inappropriate circumstances as determined by us, users, or account holders who are deemed to repeat infringers of the copyright of others. We may also, at sole discretion, limit access to the services and / or update, transfer, suspend, or terminate the accounts of any users who infringe the intellectual property rights of others, whether or not there's any repeat infringement. If you believe that your work has been used in any services, in services in a way that constitutes copyright infringement, please submit a notice of alleged infringement, DMC notice, to our designated copyright agent as follows. Legal Department, Epic Games Incorporated, 620 Crossroads Boulevard, Cary, NC 27518. Telephone 919-858-0070. Email dmca@support.epicgames.com. Please see 17 USC 512C3 for the requirements of proper DMC notice. Also, please note that if you knowingly misrepresent any activity or material on their services is infringing, you may be liable to us for certain costs and damages. Number 10. Termination. This agreement is effective until terminated by you or us. You may terminate this agreement by deleting all copies of the software and no longer using any of our services. We may suspend or terminate your account and your use of any of our services at our sole discretion, including where we consider that your use of our services breaches this agreement or applicable law, or where we choose not to continue providing any service to any person for any reason. If we take any action described in this section, any license you may have under this agreement will terminate and, to the full extent permitted by applicable law, you will not be entitled to a refund, credit, or any other reimbursement for any payments you made for any services, including any virtual features. Our exercise of any of our rights under this agreement shall not prejudice any remedies to which we may be entitled under law or equity. Sections 3, 5, and 9-22 of this agreement shall survive termination of this agreement. 11. Third parties. This agreement has been agreed for the benefit of the Epic parties who may independently enforce the terms of the agreement against you. 12. Privacy. The developer and operator of Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout is Mediatonic Limited. Mediatonic Limited processes personal information about the players of the game in accordance with its privacy policy. You acknowledge that you have read and understand privacy policy. 13. Third-party content. Our services may include hyperlinks to third-party websites and services. We do not control those websites and services and are not responsible for the content or for the collection, use, or disclosure of your personal information. 14. Disclaimers. To the maximum extent permitted by applicable law, we provide our services as is, with all fault, as available and without warranty or condition of any kind. Use our services at your own risk. Mediatonic Limited, EGFG LLC, Epic Games Incorporated, their respective affiliates and subsidiaries, and all of their respective employees, officers, directors, representatives, agents, assigns, successors, shareholders, partners, and suppliers, Epic parties hereby disclaim all warranties and conditions, express, implied, statutory, or otherwise. Without limiting the foregoing, we give no express, implied, or statutory warranties or conditions, including implied warranties or conditions of merchantability, satisfactory quality, fitness for a particular purpose, non-infringement of third-party rights, or warranties or conditions arising from a course of dealing, usage, or practice. We do not warrant or condition against interfere with your enjoyment of our services. That our services will meet your requirements. That operation of our services will be uninterrupted, secure, available at any particular time or location, or free from errors, bugs, corruptions, loss, interference, hacking, viruses, or other harmful components. That our services will interoperate or be compatible with any other software. Number 15. Limitations of liability. To the maximum extent permitted by applicable law, in no event shall Epic parties be liable for any indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or punitive damages, including for loss of profits, data, use, goodwill, or other intangible losses, whether based on breach of contract, breach of warranty, tort, including negligence, product liability, or otherwise. Even if advised of the possibility of such damages, without limiting the foregoing, you expressly agree that you are solely responsible for any damages or losses resulting from: Number 1. Your access to or use of or inability to access or use our services. 2. Any conduct or content of any third party using our services. 3. Any content obtained from our services. 4. Any use or non-use of your streaming footage. Or 5. Unauthorized access, use, or alteration of your transmission or content, whether based on warranty, contract, tort, including negligence, or any other legal theory, whether or not we have been informed of the possibility of such damage, and even if a remedy is set forth herein is found to have failed of its essential purpose. Further, to the maximum extent permitted by applicable law, the Epic parties' aggregate liability will not exceed the total amount you have paid, if any, for the services under under these terms during the 12 months immediately preceding the events giving rise to such liability. Number 16. Indemnification. This section only applies to the extent followed by the laws of your jurisdiction. If the laws of your jurisdiction do not allow you to enter into the indemnification obligation below, then you assume to the extent permitted by the laws of your jurisdiction all liability for the claims, demands, actions, losses, liabilities, and expenses, including attorney fees, costs, and expert witness fees that are stated subject matter of the indemnification obligation below. You agree to indemnify, pay the defense costs, and hold harmless the epic parties from and against any and all claims, demands, actions, liabilities, damages, judgments, awards, losses, costs, expense, or fees, including reasonable attorney and expert witness fees arising out or in connection with 1. Any claim that, if true, would constitute your breach of this agreement or your negligence. 2. Any act or omission by you in using our services. Or 3. Your UGC. You agree to reimburse the epic parties on demand for any defense costs incurred by the epic parties and any payments made or lost suffered by the epic parties, whether in a court judgment or settlement, based on any matter covered by this section. 17. Governing law. This agreement shall be governed and constructed in accordance with the laws of North Carolina, United States of America, without regard to its conflict of law provisions. For any claims and disputes not subject to the arbitration agreement in section 18 below, exclusive jurisdiction for any claims or action arising out or relating to this agreement of our services shall be the Superior Court of Wake County, North Carolina. Or if federal court jurisdiction exists, the United States District Court for the Eastern District of North Carolina, and you expressly consent to the exercise of personal jurisdiction of such courts. Number 18. Dispute resolution by binding arbitration. By accepting the terms of this agreement, you and we expressly waive the right to a trial by jury and the right to participate in a class action. This section offers a streamlined way to resolve disputes between you and us if they arise. Most of your concerns can be resolved by contacting customer service at https://support.fogaz.com/. If we cannot resolve your concern, you and we agree to be bound by the procedures set forth in this section to resolve any and all disputes between us. This section is an agreement between you and us and applies to our respective agents, employees, affiliates, predecessors, successors, beneficiaries, and assigns. This agreement to arbitrate evidence as transaction in interstate commerce, and thus the Federal Arbitration Act governs the interpretation and enforcement of this section. A. Claims covered by arbitration. All dispute, claims, or controversies arising out of or relating to this agreement, any of our services and their marketing, or any of the relationship between you and us, disputes shall be determined exclusively by binding arbitration. This includes claims that occurred before you entered into this agreement. The only disputes not covered by this section are claims A. regarding the infringement, protection, or validity of our licensors, trade secrets or copyright, trade or patent rights, or B. brought in small claims court. B. Informal negotiations. You and we shall first attempt to resolve any dispute informally for at least 30 days before initiating attribution. The informal negotiation commence once upon receipt of written notice from one person to another, notice of dispute. The notice of dispute must A. include the full name and contact information of the complaining party, B. describe the nature and basis of the claim or dispute, and C. set forth the specific relief sought. We will send our notice of dispute to your billing or email address. You will send your notice of dispute by contacting customer service at https://support.fogaz.com/. C. Binding arbitration. If you and we cannot resolve a dispute informally, subject to the expectations in subsection A and subsection C, you or we will have the dispute finally and exclusively resolved by binding arbitration. Any election to arbitrate by one party shall be final and binding on the other. The arbitration shall be administered by the Judicial Arbitration Mediation Services Incorporated, JAMS. According to the JAMS Streamlined Arbitration Rules and Procedures, effective July 1st, 2014, the JAM rules, as modified by this agreement, your arbitration fees and your share of arbitration compensation shall be governed by the JAMS rules. If such costs are determined by the arbitrator to be excessive, or if you send us a notice on the notice of dispute address before indicating that you are unable to pay the fees required to initiate an arbitration, we may pay the relevant arbitration fees and expenses. The arbitration may be conducted in person through the submission of documents, by phone, or online. The arbitrator shall make a decision in writing and shall provide a statement of reasons if requested by either party. The arbitrator must follow applicable law, and any award may be changed if the arbitrator fails to do so. You and we may litigate in court to compel arbitration, to stay proceeding pending arbitration, or to confirm, modify, vacate, or enter judgment on an award entered by the arbitrator. D. Limitations. You and we agree that each may bring claims against the other only in our or your individual capacity and not as a plaintiff or class member in any perpetuated class or representative proceeding. The arbitrator shall not consolidate any other person's claims with your claims and shall not proceed over any type of representative or class proceeding. The attributor may reward declaratory or injunctive relief only in the favor of the individual party seeking relief and only to the extent necessary to provide relief warranted by that party's individual claim. If this specific subsection is found to be unenforceable, then the entity of this agreement to arbitrate shall be null and void. E. Location. If an in-person hearing is required, the hearing will take place in either Wake County, North Carolina, or where you reside. You choose. Any decision or award may be enforced as a final judgment by any county of competent jurisdiction, or if applicable, application may be made to such court for judicial acceptance of any award and an order of enforcement. F. Change to this arbitration agreement. We will not enforce material changes to this agreement to arbitrate unless you expressly agree to the changes. G. Severability. If any clause within this section or any other class action waiver clauses above is illegal or unenforceable, that clause will be severed from this section and the remainder of this section will be given full effect. If a class action waiver clause is found to be legal or unenforceable, this entire section will be unforeseeable and the dispute will be decided by the court. 19. Amendments. Only we may amend this agreement. You should review this agreement regularly to take notice of any amendments. Your continued use of our services after their effective date means you accept such amendments. If you do not agree to the amendment agreement, immediately stop using our services. 20. Assignment. We reserve the right to assign this agreement to another party without notice to you, to the extent permitted by applicable law. You may not sublicense, assign, transfer, or delegate any of your rights or obligations under this agreement to any third party without our prior written consent. Any attempt to sublicense, assignment, transfer, or delegation in violation of this article shall be avoided. Number 21. Any use of the words include, includes, or including in this agreement shall be interpreted to include, but not limited to, after them. If any part of this agreement is determined to be invalid or unforeseeable pursuant to the applicable law, that the invalid or unforeseeable provision will be deemed superseded by the valid, enforceable provision that may closely matches the intent of the original provision, and the remainder of this agreement shall continue in effect. No waiver of any term or condition or this agreement shall be deemed a further or continuing waiver of such term or any other term, and or failure to assert any right or provision under the agreement shall not constitute a waiver of such right or provision. This agreement, together with any other of our terms that govern your use of our services, constitutes the entire agreement between you and us. As a consumer, you may have rights under applicable local laws that cannot be excluded, limited, or changed. Those rights take priority over anything in this agreement. 22. Supplemental terms for PlayStation. The following terms apply where you use our services on a PlayStation system. This agreement is between you and us, Epic Games Incorporated, not you and Sony Interactive Entertainment LLC, SIE, or any of its affiliates. However, SIE and its affiliates are third-party beneficiaries of this agreement. We are solely responsible for our services and not SIE or any of its affiliates. For purchases in the PlayStation Store in North America, purchase and use of items are subjected to net terms of service and user agreement. This online service has been sublicensed to you by Sony Interactive Entertainment America. For purchases in the PlayStation Store in Europe, any content purchased in an in-game store will be purchased from the Sony Interactive Entertainment Europe Limited (SIE) and be subjected to PlayStation Network terms of service and user agreement, which is available on the PlayStation Store. Please check usage rights for each purchase, as these may differ from item to item. Unless otherwise shown, content in any in-game store has the same age rating as the game. Open source software license acknowledgements.